Welcome back to the deep dive. So let's picture this. It's Monday morning, you have noble intentions, the fridge is full of kale, your running shoes are right by the door, and you've decided this is the week.
The week the plan finally sticks.
Exactly. You lay all the groundwork for success. But then, Wednesday rolls around.
Wednesday.
And that perfect plan has just collapsed.
Yeah.
You're staring at the biscuit tin in the office, and you feel less like a person with free will and more like, I don't know, a puppet on strings.
That feeling is so universal, and that's really what we're diving into today, that cycle of high intention and then low follow-through.
Right. And the mission here isn't to tell people to just have more grit, is it?
No, absolutely not. The key takeaway right from the top is that this collapse isn't a character flaw. It's not a moral failure. It's a scientific mismatch.
A mismatch between our modern goals and our ancient brain.
Precisely. We're looking at sources, including some really actionable steps from Sundried's 10 Simple Ways to Boost Your Willpower to understand this. Willpower is a neurobiological function. It's not a fixed battery. It fluctuates.
Okay, so if it's fluctuating and it's fragile, where does it even fit in with long-term goals?
It has a very specific and limited role. It's absolutely required to initiate a change. To sign up for the gym, to buy the healthy food in the first place.
To get things started.
Right. But relying on it for the long haul, for the day in, day out grind, that's a strategy that is physiologically just destined to fail.
So we need better systems, not just more strength.
That's the whole game.
Okay, let's unpack that. You say it's neurobiological. It often feels like this big philosophical debate inside your head, but you're saying it's a literal tug-of-war happening in the brain.
It is absolutely a physiological tug-of-war. Think of your brain as having two main operating systems that are constantly fighting for control. You've got what scientists call the cool system. This is your inner athlete, the long-range planner.
The adult in the room.
The adult in the room, exactly. It's housed in your prefrontal cortex, the PFC, which is the newest part of our brain, evolutionarily speaking. It handles logic, long-term goals, all that good stuff.
And it knows the kale is better for you in 6 months.
Right. But then you have the hot system. This is the ancient impulsive part. The limbic system. It doesn't care about 6 months from now. It wants the reward, the sugar, the comfort, the rest, and it wants it right now.
So willpower is...
Oh, shit.
It's just the PFC, the cool system, trying to hit the brakes on the hot system.
It's a metabolic balancing act. The PFC is actively using energy to dampen those incredibly loud signals from the hot system. And that leads us straight to the problem.
The fragility?
The fragility, yeah. Because the PFC is so new, it's sensitive. It's easily compromised by stress, lack of sleep, hunger.
So basically, a normal Tuesday for most people.
The normal Tuesday, exactly. And when those conditions hit, the PFC's brakes just stop working effectively. The cool system is running on fumes, and the hot system takes the wheel.
Which explains why the plan falls apart so fast when a deadline hits or you pull an all-nighter. The hardware for self-control it's malfunctioning.
The maintenance is poor.
Now, for years, we all heard this was a fuel issue, right? The whole ego depletion idea.
Yes, the idea that willpower is like a muscle that gets tired or a fuel tank that just runs dry.
If you resist the donut at breakfast, you won't have enough willpower left to go to the gym after work.
And this is where the science gets really interesting and where the sources show this huge shift in thinking. That feeling of being drained is real, 100%. But the idea of a literal fuel tank running out of energy...
That's been debunked.
Largely, yes. Especially the glucose hypothesis that went with it. They did these fascinating studies where subjects just swish a glucose solution in their mouths and then spat it out.
Without even swallowing it.
Without swallowing. And just the taste, just the signal of incoming sugar, was enough to restore performance on self-control tasks.
Wow. So the brain wasn't out of fuel, it just needed to think fuel was on the way.
Precisely. It's just the whole thing isn't about fuel loss, it's about motivation and cost benefit. This leads to what's now called the process model.
Okay, what's that?
What feels like an empty willpower tank is actually your brain shifting its priorities. After you spend a lot of effort on have-to tasks, boring work, chores, your brain just ups the value of want-to tasks.
Like relaxing on the sofa.
Or eating the biscuit. It's not that you've lost the ability to resist, it's just that your brain has subconsciously decided the effort isn't worth it anymore.
Which makes our mindset so important. If I believe willpower is more like an emotion, that it ebbs and flows, but it can come back.
You actually perform better. The research is clear on this. People who believe willpower is a limitless, self-renewing resource show way less fatigue. Your belief system acts like a thermostat for your mental energy.
But we have to touch on the willpower lottery. We all know that person who just seems to have iron willpower.
Right, and it's true to an extent. Genetics plays a role. Maybe 60% of self-control is heritable. Some people do win that lottery.
But here's the paradox, isn't it?
It is. The biggest insight is that people who score highest on self-control aren't actually fighting more battles. They report experiencing fewer temptations throughout the day.
So they're not constantly wrestling with themselves.
No, they're not in a constant fight. They're using that high-level planning, their cool system, to design an environment that avoids the battlefield altogether. They focus on prevention, not just constant inhibition.
Which brings us right back to the idea of using systems, not just raw strength.
Exactly.
So let's apply this directly to weight loss. The moment you decide to restrict calories, your body doesn't see a health goal. It sees a famine.
And it launches a full-scale counterattack. This hormonal hostility is the real barrier, and it's so much more powerful than grit.
So what's happening hormonally?
Two main players lead the charge. First, ghrelin, the hunger hormone. It spikes when you diet. And it doesn't just make your stomach growl, it actually changes how your brain sees the world.
How so?
It makes high-calorie foods look more appealing, physically more salient. Your brain literally turns up the volume on the impulse to eat until it's just deafening.
And at the same time, something's happening with leptin.
Yes. As fat cells shrink, leptin, that's the satiety or I'm full hormone, it plummets. Low leptin is a primal starvation signal. It slows your metabolism and ramps up the drive to find food.
Okay, so you're hungrier and your metabolism is slowing down. That's bad enough.
But here's the real kicker. The combination of high ghrelin and low leptin actively impairs the prefrontal cortex.
It takes your cool system offline.
The very act of dieting sabotages the part of your brain you need to stick to the diet. You're fighting a survival instinct with a weakened brain. It's a guaranteed losing game if you only rely on willpower.
And on top of that biological trap, there's the psychological one. The sources, like Sun-Dried, call it white bear thinking.
Ironic process theory. It's the classic mental trap. If I tell you, whatever you do, do not think about a white bear.
I'm immediately thinking of a white bear.
Of course. To make sure you're not thinking about it, part of your brain has to keep checking for it. When you label a food as forbidden, you're just keeping it front and center in your mind.
And the second you're tired or stressed,
The suppression fails. The thought floods your mind, and that often leads to the what the hell effect.
yes, well, I've already had one biscuit, my diet is ruined, so I might as well eat the whole packet.
That's the one. It's a total psychological crash and burn, and it's rooted in that initial attempt to just suppress a thought.
Okay, so if biology and psychology are actively working against us, we have to shift the burden. We need to automate.
Automation is everything. You shift the burden from that effortful PFC to your efficient automatic habit system. This gets to a strategy our sources call the 66-day bridge.
What's the 66-day bridge?
Research shows it takes, on average, about 66 days for a new behavior to become genuinely automatic, to become a habit that requires almost no conscious thought.
So willpower's job isn't to last forever. Its job is to get you across that 2-month bridge.
That's it. You're using willpower as temporary scaffolding. And while that scaffolding is up, you have to engineer your environment. This is all about what they call choice architecture.
Making the good choice the easy choice.
Make it the path of least resistance. You want to drink more water. Don't just hope you'll remember. Put a full water bottle right next to the coffee machine, something you touch every morning.
And for the bad choices,
You do the opposite. You add friction. Put the biscuits in an opaque container on the highest shelf in the pantry. Make the healthy snack, the sliced apples, visible and easy to grab in the front of the fridge.
it's about giving your cool system a fighting chance.
A head start. We can do the same with digital distractions. Deleting the takeaway apps from your phone or just charging your phone in another room at night.
It adds that crucial pause.
That little bit of friction, that walk to the other room, is just enough time for your PFC to wake up and say, wait, do I really want to do this?
And finally, there's a tool for bypassing decisions in the moment entirely. Sun-Dried calls them if-then scripts.
Implementation intentions. This is maybe the ultimate willpower preservation tool. You take the decision out of the high-stress moment. A vague goal like, I'll try to avoid snacking, is useless.
It's a cognitive tax.
Totally. Instead, you pre-program a response. If I feel that 3 p.m. energy slump, then I will immediately drink a glass of water and take a 5-minute walk.
You've written the code in advance. The craving is the trigger, and the walk is the automatic routine. No decision needed.
Zero willpower required in the moment because your rational brain already made the choice for you hours ago when you were calm and in control.
Let's bring this all home. Let's run through the foundational supports, the things you need to do to keep that hardware, the PFC, running effectively in the first place.
Okay, top of the list, and it's non-negotiable, is sleep. A tired brain has almost no capacity for self-regulation. The connection between the PFC and the limbic system it breaks down. Prioritizing rest is the single best thing you can do for your willpower.
Then there's timing your decisions,
Yeah.
using what's called pre-commitment.
Yes. Only make decisions for your future self when your cool system is fully online. This is the classic advice. Never go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Right.
Plan your meals for the week after a satisfying dinner. Order your groceries online when you're full. You're letting your rational self make choices for your future impulsive self.
And finally, and this is maybe the most important for long-term success, is forgiveness.
The all-or-nothing mindset is so destructive. The perfect plan. You will slip up. The goal isn't perfection. If you eat the chip, if you miss the workout, you have to acknowledge it, show yourself some compassion, and get right back on track at the very next meal.
Not tomorrow, not next Monday.
At the next opportunity. Self-criticism just guarantees the what the hell effect. Self-compassion is what actually sustains effort over the long run.
So if we pull this all together, the final takeaway is willpower is real, but it's fragile.
It's fragile, it's fluctuating, and the people who seem to have iron willpower aren't superhuman. They're not constantly fighting. They are just people with better systems. They've built better environments.
So stop asking yourself for more strength. Stop trying to fight biology with a faulty tool. Start asking, how can I design a better system? How can I build a better environment that makes the good choice the easy choice?
That's the question to ask.
We touched on the famous marshmallow test earlier, and the modern research on it is so revealing. A kid's ability to delay gratification, to wait for that second marshmallow, isn't just about raw self-control, it's heavily influenced by their environment.
By trust, really. If you live in a world where promises are often broken, taking the one marshmallow you can see right now is the most rational choice.
Exactly. So our final provocative thought for you to explore is this. What environmental rocks? What sources of instability might you be carrying right now? Things like stress, financial worry, chronic uncertainty, lack of sleep.
Things that make your capacity for self-control inherently harder than it needs to be.
Understanding that context and finding ways to remove some of those rocks from your own environment, that's the ultimate act of self-compassion. And it's the real foundation for any effective long-term plan. Now go forth and architect your success.